folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the DCL Show. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, producer from CDisney.com, Mr. Jimmy Valdez.
Hi, everyone.
Melissa Gill from CDisney.com.
Hi, everyone.
Not from CDisney.com, Ms. Teresa Eccles.
Hi, everyone. They're so happy.
And senior editor of CDisney.com, Mr. Federico Argar.
Hola, thanks for having me.
And back in the peanut gallery, which we rarely ever have anymore, Miss Mary Jo Mulatto Willie. She's going to be on a cruise show a little later, so we're doing two of these today. This one is 5 things Disney Cruise Line gets right. And the next one, a little later on today, will be 5 things Disney Cruise Line gets wrong. So, we just came back from an amazing 4-night sailing on board the Disney Dream. And this was one of those last-minute things. A month ago, there were no plans to do this.
3 days before, there were no plans to do this.
And as will happen with me, I'll get an idea, and there isn't often a lot of, thought, which in this case, I'm very glad. Let's just do it. And
You called me on a Thursday. You want to go on a cruise really soon? I'm thinking January or February. Monday. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
welcome to my world.
I know your world.
You were watching some Anya Taylor-Joy interviews on YouTube when Fede wrote to us and he asked us. It was like I think 12 a.m.
Yeah.
So he asked us if we were able to come to a cruise. So so we were so excited at 12 a.m. in Argentina, like jumping, and it was like we just won a cruise, a Disney cruise.
Just won a Disney cruise.
It felt like
Well, and winning a Disney cruise with me means you're going to work your ass off.
Yeah.
And they did. Mm-hmm. They did. Believe me, they got a lot of content. We did a lot of vlogs. Mm-hmm. A lot of that stuff, including the stuff that I did in October when Drake and I were on the Dream, is going to be going up in January. The reason being, that's when everybody starts planning their trips. And obviously, my job is to generate as much business for dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, which I forgot to do the promo. This show, along with everything we do, brought to you by dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And Craig, you need to text them and tell them to keep it the hell down. There's a bunch of people out in my family room right now. Oh no, Mary Jo's going. Go ahead. Shut up.
No, she'll join this show.
This show, along with everything that we do, brought to you by dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Teresa is one of our great agents. She plans a lot of cruises for folks. And just a reminder that you will pay the same price you would pay directly with Disney. When you book with Dreams Unlimited Travel, there are 2 things Disney does not give you. Number 1 is our shipboard credit, which is up to $1,000, depending on how much you spend, and a dedicated agent to help you plan every aspect of that experience. So dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, if you like our stuff, book your next trip with Dreams, please, because that's how we pay for it. So we did this cruise, and this was my second one in 2 months, and I'm going on another one with my niece and her boyfriend next month. And as a matter of fact, I think I have about 3 or 4 cruises planned at this point for next year. Now that I've gone, right, and done it, I was so nervous before the October cruise. I had one planned when they first relaunched.
Oh, first one, yeah.
I was so nervous about it, I canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, okay. I'm like, what's going on? It's like heads popping in. This is going to be a fun day. What? You're doing this to me today with the
I'm not
looks.
doing it to you.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Okay, so it's all in my head. But once I by October, Jackie had gone, Denny had gone.
Mm-hmm.
They were like my canaries in the coal mine. I'm like, okay, they're still alive, so I can go. And did the October cruise. Got a chance to see just how fantastic a job Disney Cruise Line does with the entire COVID
process
and situation. Are some things different? Yeah, sure it is. Of course it is. Is it bad? No, it's not at all. I mean, did you guys find?
Yeah.
No, this is my second cruise, and they were both post-pandemic. So I don't know the difference between
Right.
back then. I don't want to know it because I love the ships being like so empty and being clean all the time, and just people being taking care of you all the
They
time.
were always
Yeah.
clean.
There was always clean.
Everything immaculate.
But there's so much more attention to detail now of making sure that everyone's okay. And that, but I have a question. You all arrived by car, by Uber, by limo, whatever.
We FL Tours.
Did you have
FL
to,
tour.
you didn't wait in the garage. You had to go out and go into the tents, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
What is that like? I haven't done that. I've only arrived by
Okay, so
car.
what happens if you arrive by car? Everyone before they get on needs to be tested. No more doing it at home and showing a paper. You get tested right then and there before you get on the ship. And if you arrive by car, that testing process takes place in the garage. If you arrive by transport, like in our case, we used fltours.com, been using for years. Mo and his team are phenomenal. So if you want a transfer to Port Canaveral, fltours.com, great place to go. So we pull up, we check our bags. They direct us across the way to these tents they have set up. It is very, very, outbreak like the movie.
Right? It looks that way when you pull up.
And you've got folks there that are administering the tests. You go, they tell you where to go. Yeah, now mind you, before you get on, you have to go to the Safe Passage website. You have to upload your vaccination documents. There's a bunch of questions you have to answer and things you have to do. That prior to this, that means you're ready to you're ready to sail as soon as you get this test done. If you don't do those things, you're not getting on the ship. It's that simple. So you get there, you go into the tent, they tell you where to go. You swab yourself 5 seconds in each nostril, and then you go and you wait in a waiting area, waiting tent, and you will get an email telling you that you're clear to sail.
Usually within the hour.
Usually, yeah. They tell you it takes, it could be up to an hour. Both times for me, it was like within 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, about 30 minutes. Now, if you arrive by car and you're paying for parking, you go into the parking, you do the testing, and then you go park your car and you wait and just sit in your car, and get all nervous like it might, what's going to happen if I don't pass?
Yeah.
Right. That 30 minutes to an hour that you're waiting for those results is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you test positive, you don't get on the ship.
And neither does anyone in your party.
And that's right, or anyone in your party. You're just you're out of the parade. But when you do get on the ship, you're reminded that every single person just went through that process. Every single person tested negative. Every single person is vaccinated. That can be vaccinated. Now, of course, in January, Disney is requiring children 5 and up must be vaccinated to sail, no exceptions. So that's a new policy.
Yeah,
That-
and this is important because, sorry for my English, but it makes you feel safe, and I think is one of the good points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I would start to get a little nervous, I remember, oh yeah, everybody's vaccinated, everyone's been tested. And keep in mind now, we're talking about the dream and the fantasy, in particular, coming out of Port Canaveral. And those ships hold about 4,300 guests, not including crew. There were less than 1,500, I think, on our sailing.
I would say that. But more than my first cruise in September, there was only like 900, there was less than 1,000. And it was...
And this is something I want to make a constant drumbeat of this point on every show that we do about DCL. If you're planning to sail, please, please, please be generous with your tips, because these guys are not paid a huge sum of money to be on that ship. They make their money from tips, and they've lost 2/3 of their income.
Oh, at least, yeah.
They've lost 2/3 of their income. So when you get a drink at the bar, for example, and there's that 18% auto gratuity, that gratuity goes into a pool that is divided up among all the servers. When you add the additional gratuity, that goes directly to that server, that person. So I really went out of my way whenever there was, because like if I buy a Coke up on deck, they're going to charge me for it. I was doing additional gratuities like crazy. And then, of course, at the end of the cruise, you have your prepaid gratuities. And I've been making sure to throw some extra money in there as well, in an effort to show support for them. These guys have to be there. This is their livelihood. And, anybody who's been on a cruise, you know how attached we get to our servers.
Yeah.
And for good reason. So when we talk about 5 things that DCL does right, number 1 right now absolutely has to be how they are handling their process with the pandemic. It is seamless. It is seamless. Is it different than it was before? Yeah, of course it is. But given how different it is, given how involved the process is, I can't imagine any company could have done better than Disney Cruise Line has done in this process. Now, with that said, I haven't experienced Royal Caribbean or any of the other ones. But I know that a Carnival ship just had a COVID outbreak. And they had to pull it offline. So, knock wood, we haven't had that issue so far with Disney Cruise Line, which says a lot about how well they're doing. So that's got to be absolute number 1, how well they've done the COVID process. Teresa's outside hacking the whole lot. Number 2, and this is not butt kissing. DCL and how they've handled this pandemic in general, or in specific, how they've handled getting people onto the cruises in this new normal. Incredibly well-run company. Tom Maslam, who's the head of Disney Cruise Line, really deserves a lot of credit for piloting the company through this. Piloting the cruise line, I should say, through this. And doing so with, you got to think about the balancing act that has to be done. You've got to balance safety. You've got to balance profit. You've got to balance guest experience. And you got to do it all at once, and you can't get any of them wrong. You can't get any of them wrong. And so far, based on my 2 sailings, he and his team have done a sterling job at doing that. I cannot really adequately tell you in words how phenomenal my experiences on that ship have been over the last 3 months. And I am comparing that to my sailings prior. These were better. Pure and simple. I can't believe I'm saying that. But the last morning of the cruise, Federico will tell you, I cried.
He did.
He did.
I cried.
Did you console him?
And he made me cry. So we were just like
Yeah.
crying.
Couple of you in this environment, you can deliver a product like that so well that somebody who's done 40 some odd cruises now, 43 I think it is, 43 Disney cruises, cries when he leaves. You got it right. You got it right.
I do have a question for you guys that been before the pandemic. Because one of the things that I thought it was more special is the fact that all the service get to know you. They know your name. They know who you are. They know your story. Mm-hmm. Is that something that happened before when you have 4,000
definitely.
people in the ship?
Let me tell you one thing there's no
Wow.
change in. There is no daylight between the service that you got before and you get now. In fact, I think it's even better. And it was great before.
It was great before. I've had clients, and myself included, when you go back, if you go back on the same itinerary in the same ship, they request the same server they had before. Mm-hmm. And because you want that, and you friend them on Facebook. And, I had my server in September. We became friends. I said, I'm coming back. He said, I just got back to Peru. I'm like, oh no, but he'll be there in May for our next one. But you form an attachment to them.
Absolutely.
Really
Yeah.
You absolutely do. No, that part of the process is phenomenal. And that brings me to the other thing on my list about things DCL does right. Given the circumstances that they have to work, these people work 16-hour days. They work 16-hour days. These crew members are happy. They're engaged. They're friendly. They're warm. They're compassionate. I'm miserable for a living. And
True.
I look because of what I do. I look for things that are wrong. Now, I try not to do that to the exclusion of experiencing the things that are right, but I'm paying attention. And if you ask me what was wrong on this cruise, I honestly, I don't. When we were coming up with these lists,
We did a brainstorm.
we brainstormed on the cruise.
Yeah.
5 things that DCL does right. And we were like banging things out. I could have done a 20 things.
Yeah.
And when it came to 5 things they did wrong, we struggled. We struggled to come up with that list. And that's just the truth. And anybody who watches me on any regular basis knows I say what I think. And regardless of business interests, I say what I think. And if it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah, and I said to you that it amazes me to see how emotional you still get every time you go to a cruise, even if you've been to so many, and you're still going to be going to more this year, but you still get like really excited with each cruise. And this is the third one Melly and I been on. And I can't recommend this experience enough for all Disney fans. It really is. You know that the service for Disney is always great. It's always top notch. But I think this is like that on steroids. So yeah, we had such a great time, and the service is a huge part of that. Yeah.
All right, let me open it up. Mel, what do you think of some other things that they get right?
Love the entertainment. I'm so sorry for my English. Is the
You're fine. You're doing great, honey.
I did the exercise when I was seeing Bella and the Beast,
Beauty and the
Beast. And I closed my eyes to only hear the music. And the acoustic of the theater was so great. Like you can enjoy play in, I don't know, New York or at Colón in my country.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
It is broad.
Yeah.
They really have hit a standard with Broadway caliber
Yeah.
entertainment in those theaters.
Yeah.
And that's not coming from someone who's seen a lot of Broadway shows. Now, this wasn't always, they used to call it, Broadway style shows. And I used to, get on them about that, saying, don't call them Broadway style if you're not going to deliver the goods.
Yeah.
They deliver the goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone told me that the show, the Beauty and the Beast show for the cruise, was better than the one on Broadway. And I haven't had the chance to see the Broadway one, but this one was wow. I literally kept crying. I tried not to, but I kept getting emotional because of not only the story and the acting, but to see they go far and beyond with these shows. The casting is great, the music is great, but all the way they put together the Be Our Guest part, that piece, that piece, gave me chills. It was wow.
Yeah, it's...
And if you compare with the live,
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
On Hollywood Studios. The one in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, you're talking about comparing the Beauty and the Beast show in Hollywood Studios to the one. No.
Oh,
No.
there's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
No.
One of the other things I'm happy about right now, and I hope it stays this way, even though they've added an a la carte menu to Palo, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they haven't jumped on the Walt Disney World nickel and dime bandwagon. Disney World upcharging, adding things, taking things, raising prices, taking away experiences. DCL has not jumped on that bandwagon. Now, the price of cruises is absolutely going up. And I understand that, but I don't think, for what we paid, which I think was $2,500 roughly, I think it was, for our staterooms for a 4-night cruise.
Mine was $1,800.
$1,800? Okay. Oh, yeah, mine was a little more expensive because we were in concierge.
Well, I got Florida resident rate too, though.
Theirs were 2,600 for
their stateroom.
around there.
And
But still for 4 nights.
considering it was a week before the sailing, for 4 nights, $1,300 a person, I'm sorry. I don't think that's
During the
unreasonable.
holidays. No.
And during it was a maritime sailing, and it's in December during the holidays. Nothing about those words is unreasonable. Nothing. So they haven't gone down that rabbit hole, and I'm praying they don't. I'm praying that they don't. But what else? What else do you want to add to this list of
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food was amazing. Yeah.
food?
With
All of
with
it.
one exception,
Which one?
Pete's birthday cake.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
The food was amazing.
Well, here's what's going on. Food has not always been DCL's strong suit. Sometimes, it definitely got better on the fantasy class ships with Dream the Fantasy. Definitely got better there than it was on the Magic and the Wonder, because there were meals in the Magic and the Wonder where I was like, who the hell is that food and beverage manager? But as a result of the lowered capacity, like I said, the Dream and Fantasy were better. But as a result of the lowered capacity, they're able to pay more attention, I guess, or whatever part of their process is affected by volume has been mitigated by the restrictions on the number of people allowed on board. And as a result, what's coming out to the table, honestly, every meal I had on both sailings I've done felt like it was cooked to order. It really did.
Well, you think about it. So half the number of guests, so they're not mass producing.
Much less than half.
Oh, right. So they're not mass producing that steak. And
Well, they are. They're just not doing as many of them.
well, I know. So they're, it's got to be a lot more manageable.
Because this is, you got to remember, this is basically catering.
Right.
They're feeding a couple thousand people at the same time normally. And so, yes, a lot of stuff, everything almost, is being kept warm. It's being cooked at a certain time, kept warm for a certain time, served at a certain time. Something in that process with the restrictions on the number of people allowed on board has really raised the quality. Now, one thing I thought, do anybody think this is possible? DCL may get to a point where they say, we're going to have the number of people on the ship, we're going to double the price.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
It is what's happening at Walt Disney World. It's what's happening at Walt
I
Disney
hope
World.
it doesn't happen because it's going to limit the number of people that can enjoy.
Exactly what's happening at Walt Disney World, which is why I say right now I'm giving them credit.
But that was a problem with Disney Cruise Line before, the amount of people that it was a problem getting reservations or,
With cruise
Oh,
line?
and I
Cruise
forgot.
line, yeah, that was a
and I am
problem,
so
like it is.
sorry. I forgot to mention Federico is also an agent with Dreams Unlimited Travel.
He puts a little smile
Yeah,
on.
smile.
Like his-
I completely.
business
I'm
card.
so sorry. I just introduced you as the senior editor of See Disney, but not
some
also
dude from Colombia.
an agent
dude
with
from
Dreams
Colombia.
Unlimited Travel. So, regardless of whether you speak English or Spanish, Federico can help you as well. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was saying that in Disney World, that's a problem because people, the biggest complaint is that you have too many people, longer lines, difficulty to get reservations. Is that was a thing on Disney Cruise Line before the pandemic, or? I mean,
There was availability issues on popular sailings, spring break, summertime, holidays, and there still is availability issue. And I think right now it's because, it is my opinion, they're not opening up everything for us to book solid, right? Maybe for next year they are, but for anything right now, they're holding back.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, both cruises I've done at the last minute. I've done a week before time.
Yeah.
And there was availability. I was able, and look, I don't know how long this lasts, but it kind of feels like what I was saying when Disney World first opened. Come now, because when I remember when the Contemporary first reopened. And I was there that opening day, and there was nobody there. And I said to folks, enjoy this while it lasts, because it's not going to be like this forever, and clearly forever is here.
Yeah. I think next summer cruise line's going to be, this is what I feel, going to be back to
Yeah.
full on.
But-
unless something happens with,
Yeah.
the world health.
At least in our experiences before, we never felt that like the ship being full affected our experience. We were able to do everything we wanted to do there, and we went to Palo for our honeymoon for a night, and we didn't have a problem getting our reservation for that.
reservations.
So yeah.
But you know what I liked about getting on the ship this time? Okay, I always enjoyed the sail away party, which was always up on deck. So now it's when you first get on, you stand on your little circle of family, the little big giant dot on the floor. I enjoy that, but I miss the sail away party on deck. I don't know if you ever went to that, Pete. You did it on occasion.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
Where it was just so high energy and so much going on. This seems like a little, stand on your dot, you get your 3.5 minutes and then
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, and
Which is okay. I like that for controlling the number of people that are, bumping shoulders with me. But I miss that. But I do also, I like it both ways.
Yeah.
Give me an option maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Pirate Night was our favorite part for the cruises we did before. And yeah, you're right that the energy that you get with all the people dancing and jumping and
It's
not
there
having
with
to-
the cast members.
Yeah.
But it's the people are a little more subdued, I think.
and that, folks, will do it for this episode of the DCL Show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time. Have a great week.